Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SAC Podcast. I am Ray's joined by Jeannie as normal. We got some interesting stuff coming up ahead. We're going to review a little bit of Tournament 3, lead into Tournament 4, and we also have an interview with Evie from Healthy Diet Food Groups on the docket for today. So, with a lot of exciting stuff happening, let's just jump right into it by reviewing Tournament 3. Jeannie,
Yeah,
what happened?
It's been a hot minute. We had Low Ink last weekend, so no tournament. We also had 20XX the weekend before, which kind of moved our SAC tournaments around a bit. So it's been, I know I've been watching a lot of Splatoon action, but for SAC, we've had to take a little bit of a pause. Healthy Diet Food Groups, for a reminder for everyone, came out on top. They took 3-1 over Watermelon. There was, I believe, a little bit of a disconnect at the end, a Nintendo moment, but still, Healthy Diet Food Groups, they played phenomenal. Honestly, for tournament wise, they had a massive step up performance. And from the games that I was able to watch and commentate, because I watched pretty much the majority of their games on my split screen POV, they played phenomenal. I'm looking out for Mercy as well, though. That Mercy Healthy Diet Food Groups winners semis. That was a tournament match.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can ask Evie about in the interview later. But let's go ahead and take an overview and look at the entire gold bracket for the people who maybe didn't have a chance to catch up. So, as we can see, Healthy Diet Food Groups on the top side of the bracket went all the way, beat Big Squeak W 2-0, then beat Mercy 2-1, and won the tournament, beating Watermelon 3-1. Which is a really good run. But there were also a few other close matches. Mercy Armageddon, 2-1.
That match, I remember it was on stream. We had that one on stream. It was so... Or no, we didn't have that one on stream. We had...
It's highlighted.
It's been a long time.
It's highlighted, so it was on stream.
Oh, it was on stream. So, yeah, I do remember... I was like, did I watch it on replay codes? Or I know... Because I watch so many of these games. I watch all the games. Mm-hmm. I watch all the POVs. Please send me your POVs, and I will continue to watch them again, as always. It was so darn good. It came down to within 5 points of each other in multiple games. It was really phenomenal the way that Armageddon was able to coordinate their specials back in, but Mercy just found the picks when they needed most. Like if there was a fizzy bomb, it had that extra little hop when Mercy needed it. All those little RNG shots from the splatter shots, it just seemed to fall in Mercy's favor at the end.
Mm-hmm. So was there like a standout player in the set, either on Mercy or Armageddon, or pick a standout player for both? Like who are the MVPs for the teams in that set?
Oh, I gotta think about it for a sec. I can't remember exactly what the maps were, but I always know that Knives is just a phenomenal player. I can't remember. I remember there was a big step up performance. I can't remember if it was Eric or Apple. I feel bad because I just did a pickup scrim with Eric. So if it was Eric, shout out to Eric. If it was Apple, shout out to Apple. But yeah, I remember it was so darn close. Mm-hmm. And for Armageddon, I don't feel like it was necessarily anyone that stuck out over the top besides them all just playing well together.
Mm-hmm. Armageddon was just a really good cohesive team, just playing better than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, I felt like they had the sauce. They had that secret sauce.
But, they had the sauce.
You know, Mercy just had that extra little oomph. And I wanted to say that top side of the bracket, we're going to be talking about a little bit more because Healthy Diet Food Group's Mercy match, it was really, really, really tight. I remember the Zones game. Was it Zones Brinewater? Or no, was I thinking of a different one for Healthy Diet? I'll ask Evie. We can talk to Evie. Evie will be here. We could talk about that one when Evie's in.
Yeah. So, moving down the bracket a little bit, still in the top 8, Psycho versus San, with Psycho beating San 2-0, and then the final first round match for the gold bracket is IDK versus Watermelon, where Watermelon pulls out the victory 2-1. Looks like another close series, which is a little surprising, considering IDK was the 3 seed against Watermelon 6. But, sometimes... Swiss standings can be a little deceiving. Do you think anything interesting happened in that match? Do do you have the sauce from the replays?
I didn't have the POV on that game at all, and I'm
Mm.
not surprised by Watermelon's. Even though they had the sixth seed, I know their bracket, their Swiss was stronger, and overall they are the only team that's in front of them is Synergy on our overall standings. They are ahead of Mercy. They're ahead of Armageddon. They're ahead of Naywell. They're ahead of Healthy Diet. It's crazy to think about, but Watermelon they're getting hot. They got 90 points in the first for getting ninth. They got 100 points for getting top fifth through eighth, which is out in top 8 round 1.
Mm-hmm.
And with their second place victory, 130 points added to their name, they're picking up speed. The only room for improvement for them now is to win the whole tournament for tournament 4.
Yeah, so once we finish kind of looking at this gold bracket, we can look at the standings, and you can talk a little bit about that math before we get Evie on here.
I'm getting ahead again? You telling me I'm getting ahead?
You're getting a little ahead.
Right.
2 weeks ago, it was me. Now I got to keep you in check. But yeah, so on the lower side of the round 2 for winners is Psycho versus Watermelon. Watermelon wins 2-0, sending Psycho to the bronze match. And then Watermelon progressed to grand finals where they faced Healthy Diet food groups. And the third place match was Mercy versus Psycho, where Mercy beat Psycho 3-1. So your standings would be Healthy Diet food groups first, Watermelon second, Mercy third, Psycho fourth.
I am looking a little bit of a deep dive into the Swiss rounds. Swiss side A, because we have 2 sides, Swiss side A and Swiss side B. Swiss side A had games with Healthy Diet food groups, Mercy, and Watermelon all on the same side. That is
really?
Yeah.
That's a lethal Swiss group.
Yes. All the top 3 teams were on one side.
That's lethal.
Yeah. And Sand was the only other team on that side who were taken out by Psycho 2-0.
Yeah. So, and also something to mention, the silver bracket was also really, really stacked, having teams like Sweet Shop and Rabid and Synergy in it. Like, Tournament 3 was absolutely stacked in terms of competition. Like, the playing field was really close, and you can tell by, like, Synergy, the number 1 team overall, the standings right now, got third place in silver in the last tournament.
We did watch them, and they weren't on their A game when I had been seeing them. They definitely had a little bit of a step down, and I did notice it in their play. But any slight mistakes, the difference between going 4-1 and 3-2 is the difference between gold and sometimes even bronze bracket.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, just looking at this though is just like some of these teams who you expect to be like, I think Assault and Pepper is Assault and Pepper is on the bubble for getting like top 8 in the overall standings, and they were in bronze bracket. Like, just the field of competition for SAC in tournament 3 was extremely close, and I just don't want that fact to go unnoticed.
No. Another point that we had that I should mention before Evie joins is Healthy Diet food groups and Mercy faced off against each other twice. Both times it went 2-1 in the favor of Healthy Diet food groups. We will talk more about those matches, because beating the same team twice in a tournament,
is very impressive.
Especially a team above you in the overall standings, that is very impressive.
Yeah. So kind of the question I think now, Jeannie, is do we want to just hop into the Eevee interview, or do we just want to like talk about the standings a bit and get those, or should we how about this? How about let's interview Eevee and leave some suspense for talking about tournament 4 and potentially playoffs after that.
Yes. I agree with you. Let's drag Eevee in here. And while we drag Eevee in here, I want to say I am so excited about the updates that have come out. I want to see what Gal Kraken has to do, but we have to wait for after tournament 4.
Yeah, I'm really scared about Kraken, if I'm honest. I'm having Splatoon 1 flashbacks, and it's not been a good week for me on in the theory crafting lab. That being said, Hello, Evie. What's up? Go ahead and give you maybe a quick introduction to yourself, your team, and like a fun fact if you want, I guess, even though this will be a lot of fun facts. So.
Well, the ceiling is up. But hi, I'm Edie. I've been playing Carbon for quite some time. It's probably been about 3 years, maybe. But fun fact about a healthy diet food groups is our titles are all coordinated. I am Hungry Hungry Carbon Roller. Ziff is Splatoon Rice Bowl. Blopper is Super Rare Tofu, and Q is Comfy Cozy Fried Chicken.
I love that coordination.
That
That sounds good. I'm hungry. I haven't had lunch yet. I know it's 2:00, so don't need to have lunch quite. That's just people say I'm weird for that, but that's restaurant things that do it to you. You can't eat lunch during peak time. But that makes me so hungry.
Yeah. It's also like the synergy is kind of going to another level that everyone has decided let's coordinate titles. Because like most teams do not coordinate titles, and it's still fine, but that is a very fun fact. So, all right, we had a couple questions for you. Now, where do we want to begin, Jeannie? Do
we want to start on the? I think we start on the maps and the rivalries. I talked to Eric from Mercy over the weekend in some pickup scrims, and he said that the matches between you in the Swiss and in bracket were legendary. Is there any specific moment that you guys thought we might not win this?
I mean, no, because like if we're thinking we might not win this during a set, we will not win. It's like you got to keep the mental game. You got to stay ahead that way. So I'm not during the set. I'm not going to be thinking, oh, we're not going to win this, because then like I'm going to choke or something and we won't.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah,
that's the difference between a C+ mentality and an X rank mentality. You gotta know, you gotta keep your head in the game and always feel like you have the confidence in yourself to push forward. But any of those matches, I'm trying to pull up the map list. I can't find them. I know that you traded maps 1 and 2, but can you break down what happened on some of those game 3s?
well, game 3, at least in bracket, was Rainmaker Mincemeat, and since we have a Tetra player, that's kind of like our go-to counter pick right now. And our Rainmaker pushes didn't go as deep as we wanted to at all that tournament, but we found a fix for that. And that one, I don't know if they even broke checkpoint, but we barely even got past checkpoint on that map. It was very tight. And quite funnily, actually, like right as the game ended, as they lost the set, they host DC'd.
Ooh.
I couldn't get the replay code for that, and I really wanted to. And yeah, I tried, but I know it didn't exist.
Yeah. So something I want to ask you about. In the beginning of the season, I had you guys as a really strong contender, like coming into the tournaments. Like, watch out for healthy diet food groups. And then in the first two tournaments, you guys got 40 and 50 points respectively. And then you come out and win tournament 3. What changed between tournaments 1 and 2 to tournament 3 that just caused the radical shift in gameplay?
Well, I just didn't troll.
Okay. Wow.
The first two tournaments, it's like our only losses were like sets that were super winnable, and we just played not how we should. It's that simple.
So, did a player overextend, or what was the thing that you guys after the tournament said that was like, this needs to change? And then how did you guys? Was it just like flipping a mental switch where it's like, oh, I'm just not going to walk forward here, or I'm just going to use special here instead? Like, what's the thought process back there? Is there like, who's the mastermind? What's going on?
Well, we changed two things in between tournament 2 and 3. One is like we realized some of the maps we weren't taking the correct positions to further a push, keep the zone, do all that. And then
Mhm.
the second thing was I dropped Splash. So
You
I didn't
drop
play. Yes,
Splash.
did not play it at all. Tourney 3.
So
That I do have to say your carbon was phenomenal, and it was the difference maker in a lot of the matches that I saw. Playing off of your team's utility and the space that they allowed you just to tear up. If they gave you any amount of ink, you punished the other team, and I completely noticed it.
mhm. That's just it. Kind of blew me back a little bit because you generally don't hear teams doing better when they drop Splash. Normally, it's the exact opposite. Like teams do much better when they pick Splash up. So hearing you guys like the key was just to get rid of the splash is astonishing. Um,
I have no words for that, honestly.
yeah. So talking a little bit before the podcast, you mentioned you had a team who you wanted to talk about a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm honestly quite disappointed, really, because we were super excited to face this team in bracket, and like we're like, all right, we're finally gonna get a real set between them, because the last time we played them, game 2 was a mess. Like one of them DC'd, and then on the replay we host DC'd and all that stuff. It's like yay netcode. This time we're like, all right, we can really get the set going, but then Armageddon, or really I should say Armageddon, didn't show up. They went down to Mercy right before us. It's like kind of sad, honestly.
You really just called them Armageddon.
Armageddon. I want to. If we're going to have this match highlighted on our tournament for tournament 4, I guarantee it. And I want you guys. I want to see in the Battlefied chat the Armageddon spam.
Yeah, like if even if it happens in Swiss stage, like go to help desk and be like, hey, please,
Yeah,
like
that's
make it happen.
also that if you guys play each other, I'm thinking about further on in the bracket. That'll be kind of my next question. With how you guys had your kind of slow start performances, you're sitting overall in the 6th place. If you guys have another tournament like you had in tournament 1 where you're down in bronze, you could be kissing top 8 goodbye. Do you think any big sorry, I should rephrase it. Do you think there's any possibility that you don't bring your A game because you don't have all your members ready to play in this weekend, or do you have all your members pre-clear the calendar, ready to go?
Oh, we're ready, and we're aiming for the top spot again.
You're gonna assert dominance on everyone else in the tournament and win again. You're not gonna
That's
let
the
Synergy
plan.
win another tournament. You're not gonna drop it. You're just gonna like you're just gonna T-pose on everybody. Just assert dominance.
Why wouldn't we? I mean, it's a tournament. The point is to win.
True. That's the
Do you
kind
have
of
fun
confidence I love
dominating
to
your
hear.
opponents, Evie? Do you have fun dominating your opponents, or do you have fun in watching them just flop about in like, let's say, a bunch of specials where they misuse them and you punish them, or do you just like spawn camping them?
I think both are fun, but it's more likely that they pop a crab and then die for it.
Punishing crab is a very sweet experience. So I kind of have I have another question. So everyone, I think it's general knowledge. Like 3 of the people in the Healthy Diet Food group. There's you, there's Blob, and there's Ziff. Who's the 4th player?
All right.
For me, they've kind of flown under the radar, and I would like to either like understand their role in the team and maybe get a little introduction, if you would.
All right. Well, Q is our 4th player. We started trying her out like 2 months and a half ago, and picked her up. And before she joined us, she was seeded Div 8 in the most current Ludi season, and quite rapidly improved to a level that is helping us win, and she's a Tetra and V-Dually player.
Ooh, interesting. Tetra V Dually. That's very fun. I like that. I like that a lot. Tetra also fits in your guys' composition really well, I think, because it gives you and Blot both the space you need on Carbon and Charger respectively to get a lot of things done. So they can just roll around the entire map and do things, and you guys will have a much easier time. So that's awesome.
It's quite fun too. Like, you ignore the Tetra, you get poked at a Tetra from behind you. That's dangerous. You focus on the Tetra, you get shot at by Blob. That's dangerous. You focus on Blob, you get shot at by a Tetra, and you get shit on them.
So you just put the enemy in a rough spot where they don't really have a good option. You put them between a rock and a hard place.
Indeed.
Yeah, and then also it doesn't help that if you have an Izuka, so it doesn't even matter where you are on the map. You can just kind of drop a little bomb on everyone from anywhere.
Yeah, and it's like you counterpick against me. You're going to a Charger map. Counterpick against a Charger, you're going to a Carbon map.
Yeah,
That is,
it's so true. I was thinking about ways to counter, and I'm like, heavy would be good because I play heavy. But then I'm like, wait, Charger, hold up. You can't really just go think about it too easily. You gotta. It's a big mind matchup. I've got a little bit of question. I've been keeping up with a little bit of Twitch chat. Is there anything you want to say to Genesis, who's in chat right now, who called you guys? Let me do a quote. Healthy diet mid groups.
Well, I think I can also quote chat on this one, quoting Ziff over here. Try not to lose before we get to play next time.
oh, things are getting spicy, and I'm here for it.
I might have to go upstairs and turn the stove off because whatever's cooking between these two is phenomenal and is going to be explosive.
Like, we need this match to happen on stream. Just the bragging rights, the storyline. It's incredible.
Think we have to. I feel if it's okay with it, if you guys don't play, I need to talk with the higher ups. But I would be down after the tournament if you guys do not play to have a best of 3 just for show match, just for SAC show match.
Oh, we're not doing a best of 3 for a show match. Come on now, Genie.
Oh,
you got to raise the stakes a little. It's got to be at least a best of 5.
But they just played a giant tournament. I'm not going to ask them to play.
Rivalries like this just fuel people. There is no such thing as fatigue when I can put the rival in their place. Come on now.
True. So true. I'm thinking. I'm looking at. I think we should talking about standings here, Rays. And it's good that we have Evie here as well. Evie, do you have the standings, or do I need to send them to you?
I have them.
Okay. Yeah, just looking at this list, any of the teams that are in the 10th spot and below, any of the teams that have at least 100 points, any of those teams, do you think one of them might be able to slip into that top 8? And if there is, which one do you think it will be?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Vivid. I think they could do it if they showed up. Because it doesn't look like they played in the last one.
And that was not. Was that shots fired at like showing up to play or like actually like participating in the tournament?
No, I think it was participating.
I want to ask.
A lot of shots have been fired. I don't think Vivid caught it.
I know.
No,
I want to get Vivid shot down here.
I want them to play. I want them to make it in because I think they're a good team.
I did some number crunching over the weekend. They need first or second, and help. They have a, let's say, call it a long shot, absolute long shot at getting in here. Just due to the fact that any of the teams, if we're looking at our standings here, any of our teams in the top 8, teams that have 220 points at least, participation points will get you at least right around 15. So though all those teams kind of move up a little bit past where Vivid can truly get a good hold if they don't get at least top 2.
So like, if Vivid wanted to qualify, would they just need all of the teams above them to not play, and then
No,
still win the tournament?
they only need one spot. They just need to have one of the top teams in the top. One of the teams who are currently sitting at 200 or above to not do well. Every team that's in between them in the hundreds range to also just like make bronze or not play, and then they also have to get first or second. A third place would the entire stars would align. If they make top 8 and don't make it out of round 1, they are not moving. That's
so it's a long shot for Vivid.
It's because at points the Stream Spectre, aka Watch Bochi the Rock, is at 202 points right now. If Vivid has 100 110, and with other tournaments that you've played in getting less points, that's about the only team that they can truly pass. Everyone below Stream Spectre can't get any points like to push them past the 200 mark, and then Vivid has to get gold, and then they would barely get the last spot. They would have to get gold, and the last spot barely would be them, because they'd be sitting at 205 points, and Stream Spectre would be at 202. And that's if Stream Spectre doesn't even play a match. They have to just not show up.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what do we think about a team like Assault and Pepper, who won the bronze bracket, I think, for tournament 3? What do we think? What do we think a team like their chance is on moving forward?
I'm gonna get Evie's take on that.
I mean, they've already shown that, like, in Tourney 1, they can make it to gold bracket, so they could very well take it as well. If they just have a strong showing in the 4th tournament, I think it's a lot more likely than Vivid making it, though I think they can do it. But
yeah, so you think Assault and Pepper might have flown a little bit under the radar this season, and now there's a decent chance that they explode on and just sneak out a top 8 spot?
yeah.
All right, let me just grab my calculator here. Okay.
Oh, live math.
Okay.
Oh, this.
So, everybody, we're gonna have some math here. We're looking here at who are we going? A and P. They have 100 points currently. So 100. They've got They also have 40. They also have 40 that add on to their name. Every tournament that your first 2 tournaments get counted at full points. Everything else gets counted at half points. They get top 8 and only top 8. They are sitting at 220 points. Again, that's a big benchmark that I will be going back to. Naywall has 130. Healthy Diet 220. Rabid 220. A lot of teams on the lower end of the like right on the edge of the bubble there have that. That's if these teams just straight up don't even show up.
Yeah.
A&P has to get at least out of gold round 1. They have to make it past gold round 1 if they want a legit shot, because their 40 points get cut in half. So I know it has their score as like 140 on that scoreboard, but that 40 will most likely get cut in half. They need gold and some and help.
Yeah. So what it's sounding like, the more and more we talk about this, for those teams who are sitting like 9, 10, 11, a lot of their hopes and dreams are based almost entirely on the fact that the teams above them don't play in the next tournament.
Normally it's like, oh, if you make bronze, it's really unfortunate and it's hard to keep yourself mentally in it. You need to keep yourself mentally in it. All these top teams, I'm also looking at you, Evie. If your team has like some DC issues that cause you guys to lose some matches, and this is a message to all those teams right near that on the lower half of the top 4. If Nintendo throws some stuff your way, if the storm hits you, you gotta be able to bounce back later in the tournament. Whatever bracket you make, you have to get as many points as possible, because once the calculations have been completed, we will be when the dust finally settles, it will be crazy close with the final few teams. It's always happens with SAC. Top team usually, we already know the top 3, top 4 are usually way up there, but the bubble teams, my goodness, every single point that you can get is critical.
So playing out that bronze bracket, playing in that silver bracket is critically important. Otherwise, you might get stuck in the, oh no, the one team who needed the Cinderella story got the Cinderella story because we didn't play 2 more matches.
Yeah, I'm remembering to season 0. I haven't told anybody the story, but I looked it up again. I liked the Gorillas. I thought, oh, the West Broadway Gorillas, they're such a cool team. I kind of accidentally eliminated them from the first SAC tournament. Yeah, they got, was it like 9th? Ink Alpha kind of stomped on them, and because we stomped on them, they didn't make what they needed to get, even though Alpha had already next near secured top seed.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up holding our own fate. Like, that's what Synergy can do. Everyone's like, if Synergy comes in here and plays well and takes the whole tournament, yeah, it looks good on Synergy for a nice bounce back performance, but it also screws the teams that are getting hot later on from getting into the tournament late.
All right. Well, so we talked about a lot about hypotheticals with teams making it in the top 8, but another hypothetical post UEV. Let's just say the top 8 as it is right now goes to finals. Tournament 4 doesn't happen or whatever. So it's Synergy, Watermelon, Mercy, Armageddon, Nawal, Healthy Diet, Rabid, and Watch Bochi the Rock. Who wins and why?
Well,
You said Healthy Diet, lol. Heard that.
I think there's an easy answer here. We win because, I mean, I think it's just how it is. Like, Blop goes crazy, I go crazy, Q is about to go crazy, Ziff kind of just throws us at the enemies, and like I think if top 8 stays how it is, I think we win. Really, like, we've already beat Mercy, we know we can beat Armageddon, we beat Watermelon. I think we can beat Rabid, I think we can beat Nawal, and I think we can beat Synergy.
I'm gonna tell you how the bracket looks right now. Your first round opponent, if the tournament 4 does not happen, will be Mercy.
I think then we're making it past round 1.
All right. And if hypothetically everything goes right, your round 2 opponent would be Watermelon.
Then I think we're going past round 2.
And then again, okay, in standings, the other match of winner semis would be Armageddon Synergy.
Ooh.
That would be the other match. If you had to face a winner, which one would you like to stomp on?
Okay, I'd rather play Armageddon.
All right, so what are you doing against Synergy?
I think we still beat Synergy. I just said I'd rather play Armageddon because that would kind of be crazy to have us meet.
Especially in finals. If that happens, I would lose it. I would become a joyous lad. Like, it would be incredible.
I'm so excited for the finals because, like, Raze, you and me have been following the season all along with this podcast that we've been doing and catching all the storylines and hearing tidbits of information from different players. I almost want to just, like, pause everything and just say, screw it, we're doing a 2-day tournament and we're streaming all the matches. But we can't do that.
I wish we could do that. Honestly,
I know,
like...
Yeah. We have multiple seasons of this. We appreciate everyone's feedback in Help Desk. We can't change rules around how they are in the season. They are written for the season. It's like in the top leagues, like in the NHL or the NFL or NBA, whatever. If there's a rule that you don't like, they can't change it until like after the season, unless it's egregious. But any feedback is important, and I think our feedback here, Raze, is important. Two-day tournament. I think that's a good idea.
A two-day finals would be awesome because we could stream every single match.
Yeah.
Well, see, now I'm thinking about the logistics of doing something like that. We're about to go down a rabbit hole that's just not really applicable, but I'm just enjoying thinking about.
It's a podcast. It's the SAC podcast with Raze and Genie. So, like, we can think of great ideas for SAC.
Yeah. Well, so the really fun thing.
Yeah.
All day 1. So because the top 8 is 8 matches, if we did a bronze, it would be your round of 8 on day 1, which would be 4 matches. Then you do your last 4 to decide the tournament on day 2.
Is it double elim?
No,
it's not double elim anymore. I thought it was double elim still.
I actually have no idea.
Well,
if
when
I'm
I
being
played
completely honest.
when I played back in the Stone Age of Season 0, it was double Elam. I've
Hold
never
on,
gotten
let's
2-0 in my life except for that day.
the one day you went 0-2.
Yeah, first seed, 0-2.
Yikes. That's a rough one. Yeah. Dude,
Because double Elam, it's gonna get insane. It would be insane to do. That's why I say like it'd be insane to show all the matches. But honestly, we'd have to. And luckily for us, I hope that Nintendo does not do like a baby patch after it, because I want to like show off all those crazy matches that happen because of all the cool
for sure.
storylines.
The meta is going to look crazy for finals. Because there's gonna be Kraken, there's gonna be the decoy launcher, like
you have to call it its
Crack on
official
roller.
name, bro. Come on.
No.
Wait, we're not allowed to on IPL?
No, I mean we could, but I don't want to.
Well, we're supposed to say its official name, Super Chump. Anyway, Evie, while you're still here, all of the special, or not the specials, all of the things that are currently being put in the game for the future, as you guys are in a good spot to make top 8, do you think your team comp is going to have any major shakeups?
I think it could, with the introduction of the new charger, which I think has an ugly official name in English. It's like Z plus F charger, which is that does not flow well.
Mhm.
I think having a charger, and then they gave it wall and tri-strike, so that's like Firefin 2 from the second game. I think that's just a power boost to Blockwork, because you give him a charger with a wall, you go 3 down, you open your map, you see him stuck in a corner, and then 2 of the enemy team dies.
So the question, does Blop go for the third shot or does he jump away?
Oh, he goes for the third shot. And he hits.
Does he hit the third shot?
He
he hits
hits
the
it.
third shot. He gets the triple and just goes no sweat.
He might die in the process of the third shot, but he hits it.
He hits it. Hell yeah.
I gotta say, I've been so mad when I saw that. I'm like, gotta be kidding, bro. I was so hoping that for like Jet or Heavy, and then they give it to Charger, and I'm like, I love that Charger's got a wall, its wall back, and it's got a great special, but my goodness, this is, I don't think we all realize what kind of can of worms we are just opening here, because we're gonna be in a tri-strike meta. We're gonna be maybe a crab still.
I don't know.
The number in for SAC, we see a lot more chargers than we see. I'm gonna go back because I was able to do 20XX. We saw a ton of splashes, and the pace that they move up there, is a different world. It's a different atmosphere here at SAC. I can understand the game. I watched that and commentated it. I didn't know what the heck was happening because it was moving so darn fast. SAC, I can understand, and Chargers are still able to like survive and live here. So being able to unleash the T-Tech and this new charger, we're gonna have a lot of tri-strikes coming.
Yeah. I mean, so I think tri-strike's strong, but I don't think it's going to be. I still think that just the core of double splash is going to be really strong. Like, unless the patch hits splash in a way that we're not aware of yet, which could absolutely happen. Unless splash gets hit, I think it's still just one of the strongest core weapons in the game. So I think we're going to be seeing, and like you said, we're lucky in SAC. We have a lot of meta-defining teams where, like, we acknowledge double splash is strong, but we want to do our own thing, and that's really good. See, Healthy Daifu Group is the perfect example. Charger, Carbon, Tetra, T-Tech, I think?
Yep.
So, no core splashes, but across the board, we cannot understate how strong splash is. I think that's just doing a disservice.
No, I completely agree with you, Raze. I feel like we don't lose double splash. I feel like we have double splash, double tri-strike. That's
Probably.
a general thing. We also haven't seen all the weapons. Like, what does the new splash get? If the new splash gets Fizzy Bomb, Kraken. Good game, everybody. Good game.
Hack it
Enjoy
up.
seeing splash for 8 years.
Okay, since we're talking about weapons,
Yeah.
Evie, if Carbon, or you could pick a weapon. If a weapon gets a new third kit or a second kit, whichever, what weapon, what kit, why?
Hmm. I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna say Carbon because I like it. There are a couple maps where Carbon Deco's not the greatest.
Mhm.
Just because like Zuka, even though it's really good when you haven't shot your first shot yet, the second two shots are more like a lottery. Um, just because that isn't as good as like displacing backlines after the first shot and stuff and getting rid of
Mhm.
the crab and whatever. I think if I were to do a third carbon kit, it would probably have um, torpedo.
Ooh.
Just because that's another combo sub. Like on paper,
Mhm.
Autobomb would be good for Carbon, but it really isn't because it hurts its fighting potential. And then for a special, I think, I think now I'd like Kraken, but that's never happening.
That's
Who
a
doesn't
Splatoon.
want crack?
That's a problem with Splatoon 1. With Splatoon 1, when they had the Sheldon picks, I felt like they're like, does this weapon in its base 2 kits have a Kraken? No, give it Kraken. I
Yeah.
feel like that's what everyone's asking for. I have
also
not seen
have,
one person on Twitter not request at least one weapon to have their Kraken.
yeah, I feel like that could backfire too with Kraken just being not as good as people think it's gonna. But I also have a second weapon if I may.
Go for it. Yeah.
All right. I think this one will make Ren happy, but it's Tetra. And he's been pushing for this, and I think it's a great idea to give Tetra Fizzy Zipcaster.
Okay, now why?
Well,
Why does Tetra need Fizzy Zipcaster?
Fizzy helps it get in much like Curling Bomb would, but it can also, like, if Tetra has to not go in, it can sit there and throw Fizzies and wait. Um, and that's something like just throwing auto bombs isn't that impactful if your Tetra can't really do anything. Um, so that'll help it. And then Zipcaster, it's better than Reslider, and you can use it to like zip up to an angle or an area that you couldn't normally get to, and you're a Tetra in that area now,
Mhm.
and they have to look at you. And eventually, like you'll get sent back to your recall, but in that time that you're stalling, like it's like a hey, I'm gonna go over here and stall, and you can't stop me from getting there. You only have to get me to move away. And that plus how our comp works, like if you go look at the Tetra, you're gonna lose space.
Absolutely.
So it
That
would
would
be very useful for us.
absolutely. That would be super strong for you guys.
I agree with that. I like that idea because you look at Tetras historically. I know with its sprinkler kit, it noticed that it didn't have its auto bomb. But overall, with auto bomb, it just they kind of use it as a recon tool and just to throw it out when they're not able to do anything. But Tetras are always on the move, so it doesn't. It's one of those weapons that it likes it. It would love to always have a bomb at its disposal, but it truly isn't one that like completely relies on the bomb to get anything done. I'm looking at you, Junior.
You can't call out junior players like that.
Bro, it was Custom Junior with a Disruptor. Like, even though Disruptor was broken in S1, Custom Junior found no usage.
Well, we also have to consider the overall power of Splatoon 1.
Okay, well, we're not. Okay, I just opened the wrong rabbit hole. Ray's going to be here for another half hour
Yeah.
about this. I forgot I was
Exactly.
talking with Ray's. I've talked with too many people over the weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So, to pull it back, do we have any other SAC related topics we would like to grill Evie on before we let them get back to their day?
No, we talked about the tournament. They're gonna win everything. How they
Of course,
take
yeah.
it. They're gonna win it. Actually, I want to say, if you guys, for some reason, were all not to be able to play, who do you want to win this coming tournament?
I think I want. This would be contradictory, but I think I want Armageddon to win.
So you really want to set up the storyline.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
The tournament 3 winner versus the tournament 4 winner, then clashing in the finals of the finals. Yeah,
Finals.
That was really eloquent. But yeah, that would be. I respect that. That's huge. Let get the narratives going.
Nobody's allowed to beat them but me.
I love that. You know what? I honestly, the mad respect. We got it. We have to have this show match sometime. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. My goodness. I know for sure it's going to. It has to. Armageddon has to play. You guys have to play. It's going to be in either the next tournament or finals. One or the other. There's no way we dodge it for that many rounds. We've got at least, I want to say, 7, if not 8 rounds possible. It has to happen at least once.
I'm sure we can get Roundy to finagle the seeding a little bit. I wasn't supposed to say that on stream. Okay, my bad.
Roundy's never done that before.
No, Roundy doesn't. Come on.
As long as we're not playing in like round 1 of Swiss, like.
Campfire. Oh yeah, that would mess you up.
Like Campfire and Paradise would have to play each other early in bracket, and it pissed us off because we did not want to play each other that early.
Yeah, that's the downside. Because then we can't finagle the bracket unless it's in round 1.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions I have for Evie. Evie, thank you so much for joining us. Raze, do you have any more?
No. I guess the one thing before we let you go, do you have any final words to chat to Armageddon or anyone else you want to shout out?
I just hope, Armageddon doesn't drown in the upcoming tournament.
Not that I hope you don't drown in pools. All right. Well, that being said,
don't forget, shout out your team Twitter and shout out your teammates if you want as well.
Yeah, where can people find you?
People can find us over at twitter.com/hdfoodgroups. No spaces or underscores or any of that stuff. And our team Twitter's bio has all the members' hats in it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of the SAC podcast. It was very enjoyable. Next time we should get an Armageddon player. We should open this dialogue, but
we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see if there's a team that has like a Cinderella run that gets to like the 8th spot. We might have to give it to them.
Yeah,
we've got so many options. I remember early on, Raze, we had like we'll try and find somebody out there, somebody. But now like we got so many good things. But yeah, thank you so much, Evie. And with that, Raze, I do want to. I have been number crunching. I do want to look at the standings again.
So, thank you for coming, Evie. You can leave or stick around or chill in BC, whatever you want.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Adios. So see ya. Thank you for coming. Let's look at these standings. Tell me what the numbers say, Genie. Tell me what's going on.
Numbers wise, Synergy has got a good hold. They are the only team over 300 points. It's looking really, really darn solid. They are borderline locked in.
So wait, you say borderline. Is there a way where they don't get top 8 with 300 points?
They don't play. So first of all, like straight up, they kind of, if they get the 15 points for showing up, which will turn into 7.5 points, they're next near locked, sitting at, was it 309 that they'll have, or 310?
It would be 310.
310. Yeah, sitting at 310, we have to look. There isn't enough teams, so all the teams that are below them would have to get 3rd or higher, which there isn't enough 3rd places to go around.
So, what I think you meant to say, Armageddon is locked in.
Synergy. Sorry, I said
Synergy. Sorry, Synergy. We've been talking about Armageddon. So that's my bad.
No, they're not officially locked in.
So did I misunderstand you when you said there weren't enough 3rd place matches to get the people below them?
If they get 15 points, then there isn't enough 3rd place matches.
But that's only if they show up.
Yeah, that is only if they show up.
But if they don't show up,
I'm trying to look here. Okay. If they drop, they drop down to everyone gets 100 points, but then people's half points. No, Synergy's locked. Sorry, Synergy is locked.
Okay. So,
Yeah, Synergy does not have to play. The number of points, I'm pretty much just going off of our biggest benchmark here is what Stream Spectre, or aka Watch Boshi, as they are our bubble team. They are team number 8. There's a big tiebreaker for Rabbit, Healthy Diet Food Groups, and then Naywall is 10 points ahead of them. And then 10 points ahead of Naywall, or 7.5 points ahead of Naywall is Armageddon. And then you have another kind of bigger jump up to our 270 teams, being Watermelon and Mercy, who could trade spots quite easily.
Yeah.
We have three major checkpoints here. It's you gotta catch up to Stream Spectre. They have to have a good tournament. If they want to move on, like lock in, they have to make top 8. If they don't make gold, they've left the door open for their spot to be taken.
So this playing field, these top 8 teams, is still very in the air. There's still like potentially 3 or 4 teams who could just drop out or raise up depending on how they play in Tournament 4. So looking that gold bracket on Tournament 4 is going to be really important because that's going to show us a lot of what our finals is going to look like.
Espresso has a really good shot. IDK, Silly Kitties, and Sweet Shop are all legitimately, like, actually feasible, not long shot odds of making it. They are all very, very close. A lot of them have either really bad performances, like I see like a 15 and like no shows, mixed with top cuts made. Espresso, they're the ones that need like the most help. They'll need at least a 4th or a 3rd to try and get some extra points to boost them up a little bit further. Sweet Shop, Silly Kitties, IDK, top 8 and a team that is in the top 8 currently, making silver or bronze. That would get them in there. It would come down to very close tiebreakers and what our seeding would be. It's very, 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 very close. And I'm liking how we get the reduce the point totals by half, because I'm looking up here and I see Mercy, how they didn't play in the first one, but then they got a 3rd and a 1st. Their next point total will get cut in half. If they get anything up, if they get second or like 3rd or above, they're only actually getting 3rd or below, their point total is getting cut in half. So they might only get 50 points out of a top 8. So their point total isn't getting as increased as you might think it would be.
Yeah. So there's definitely still a lot of teams in the running. So for the teams not in the top 8, I know you called out Sweet Shop, Silly Kitties, IDK, and Espresso. Are those the teams you're going to have your eye on in Tournament 4 leading into finals to see if they can make it in? Or
Absolutely.
are you going to keep your eye on the teams already in the top 8 to see if they play well enough to maintain their top 8 spot? Like, if you had to pick a strategy, and I know with you, you're going to try both. For our viewers at home,
6 POVs open. So
yeah, but for our viewers at home who might not have that much desire, what would the strategy you would have to view Tournament 4?
What I'm going to try and tell Stream to do is I'm going to try and feed them the information at the matches that will actually have playoff implications between teams. So I would probably prefer to watch it's always nice to watch the team rise to the occasion. So it's easier to watch the teams that are on the outside trying to push their way in, because they're going to be pushing a lot harder than the teams that are on the inside just trying to hold on. It's so much more inspiring to watch a team go for the push, and then in the movie you see the
underdog story.
Yeah, the underdog story, or the main character. They might make it across the finish line, or they might just fall that little bit short. But who knows? There might be a little tiebreaker, or a TO discrepancy, or a rule broken that can really honestly change up the standings. But I would definitely be watching them.
So your Genie TM strategy for viewing the next tournament is going to be watching the teams who can qualify for top 8 in Tournament 4 if they get a really good run. Watch those teams, find their Twitch streams, find their Twitters, get out there and keep your eyes on them. because if they do well, you want to be say, I was here. I was here when they beat out Watch Bochi the Rock or Healthy Diet Food Groups.
It'll be crazy, and because we have such a large amount of teams that are filling up this bubble, you can kind of make it. It's gonna be crazy. Our first round of gold will be crazy. And we have to remember, ninth place, which is first in silver, is only 10 points less than making top 8. And when that gets cut in half, instead of going to 50 points, it goes to 45. That's still a lot of points. So don't be afraid. If you're a team that's listening out here to this, that I just mentioned on the outside of the bubble, it is borderline the same to be eliminated in first round of Top Cut compared to getting first in silver. So even if a team doesn't make gold, silver is still an actual legitimate possibility, because most of the numbers that I'm seeing that are the big breakpoint are 75 or like 65. Those are the biggest swings of numbers.
Yeah. So to the teams watching, play your silver brackets. It might get you in top 8. It's got a good chance of getting you in top 8.
Oh, it will. I guarantee you, the team that gets first in silver, if they're one of the teams, even if they're one of the teams that are on the upper half of our top 8, that'll be the big difference maker between, like, if you get 16th compared to getting 9th, that will be what clutches up for you. That will be the run that you need. If you get screwed over in Swiss seeding, that's okay. Bring it back, bounce it back, and it feels amazing. It feels amazing to get that clutch up in silver.
Yeah. So, are there anything else before we wrap things up on this episode of the SAC podcast?
I want to say thank you to all of our teams that have played. I know we focus on the top half, but I'm looking down at seeing a lot of teams here that have a lot. I see a bunch of teams that don't have like 100 points at all combined, but they played in all of our tournaments. You're the teams that, yes, in season 6 will not be your season. You will not be making it there. But don't be afraid to play spoiler. What if you have the opportunity to go and say, we eliminated Rabbit, or we eliminated Healthy Diet Foods. We messed up with the bracket. We messed it up. You can take that fire and run with it to season 7, because I know later on in future seasons, teams that don't get first at the first like they don't succeed at the first hurdle the first time, the next time up, the next season, the next year, they break that first hurdle and they smash the records and they keep pushing and they really go far. So all those teams that have played in all our tournaments continue to play, and it will only build character and experience.
Growth. So, I think with that being said, let's go ahead and shout out the teams who are currently signed up for Tournament 4.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
So I already have it open. So I'm going to start with someone who we've talked about. Armageddon signed up for Tournament 4. So we can see the Armageddon Healthy Diet Food Group rivalry, because they're both signed up for Tournament 4. Shout outs to them. Next person, someone we've also talked about quite a bit, Sweet Shop is signed up for Tournament 4. So there's definitely a good chance that they can move into the top 8 with this tournament.
I'm looking at Silly Kitties and Rabbit. They are also signed up. It's going to be we've got a lot of the teams that are on the bubble or in and somewhat, let's call it, safe. They're here. We've got all the big names. We don't have our NAWALs yet. We don't have our synergies. But I don't even know if NAWAL has to play. They might. They probably should.
They should.
They probably should. If they don't, watch if they don't play and they don't.
That would be heartbreaking.
That would be a storyline.
That would be heartbreaking.
That would be funny because they won. They did so well in the first 2 tournaments and then not play in the last 2, and go out because some team played in all 3 and got like 5 points for participating one time. That would be crazy. But yeah, I'm loving to see all these teams, and we've got another team who's on goggles. I don't think goggles was signed up yet, but I love their profile. It's
Oh yeah, no, on my side they're showing as signed up. So
well, I don't know if they signed up for other ones.
I don't think so. I just controlled F the commentator document and nothing came up. So
Yeah.
so they're definitely a new team. So good luck to them.
Yeah, I'm not too many teams sign up, but that's okay. It's always a good idea just to sign up SAC, even if you just played low ink.
Mhm.
It's a really good benchmark to just like dive in and see what happens. You're not
Oh, absolutely.
It's if you're coming from Alpha Bracket and low ink and you just went 5-1 or 6-0. I'm gonna be straight up honest and tell it to your face. You are not gonna go 6-0 or 5-0 because we only have 5 rounds of Swiss here. You are not gonna do that. You are like, if you win 3, you are actually like popping off. You want to just come in here and just try your best. I know for me, my first tournament, back in what it was called, back in the Boon ages, Young Ink and the original SAC. Yeah, I know, I know. The just showing up and playing in it, I kind of got beaten. But you know what? We took it and we started winning from there. We started out 1-4, then we started going 2-3, and then 3-2, and then we started. Then when SAC came around, our team was primed and ready, and we were ready to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah. Any other?
Yeah,
closing remarks,
we're stalling now because I want to dive in. I want to dive in and talk about what I think is going to happen with the new patch, but that's the next patch. We talked about the script. We talked about the storylines. Watch a lot. Biggest thing to take away: watch as many teams in that bubble area as you can. Just try and watch bracket. Watch mainstream and watch bracket. We will present you the best matches possible, and going forward from there.
Yeah, and then how about this? How about on the next podcast? I'll give you this. The next podcast, we could talk about meta going into finals.
We have to talk about meta going into finals.
Some meta discussion.
It's a completely different meta race. We have to, and I'll let you talk about it. I know I was like, when we had the analyst section, I let you talk for an hour. When we got the numbers today with the standings, I talked for an hour because I love it. I absolutely love it. I would have had so many more. Like, I would have had an actual chart on my little surface here. But I would have had an actual chart with all the possibilities that would have gone out. But I accidentally played in Ludi and commentated a whole bunch of things. What do you mean? I didn't say accidentally.
I think you just did though.
I forcefully. Well, we won. We did our best. We didn't win. That's okay. Semis got us again. The Alpha curse. Imagine losing in semis. Could be Ink Alpha for 5 years.
And I think with that, it's time to wrap things up. I have been Raze. You can find me at Raze_splat on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all that fun stuff. I tweet occasionally. I stream occasionally. I haven't posted a YouTube video in ever, but that is where you can find me if you're interested in hearing some more of my opinions. Jeannie, where can the lovely people watching find you?
They can find me up there. Gamepad. It's not dusty, which I love because I actually kind of use it every so often. They can find me up there on Twitter. Please, I'm looking for a artist for emotes. I'm looking to commission somebody, and every time I make a Twitter post about it, it gets eaten up by bots, AI bots, and just trying out. So please, if you have anyone, let me know there. You'll see me on mic. I don't know with who yet. I can't spoil that. But you'll see me on mic for finals for tournament 4, and you'll see Raze and I. Raze, when's our next podcast? We should tell the people.
I don't know if we have a date yet.
Isn't the 11th finals? Nick will scream that at us in a sec. Nick.
So while that information may or may not come, read the rules. Read the rules.
Read the rules.
I think with that. Be sure you follow the IPL Twitter. IPL Twitter is where we will publish the most up-to-date information on the SAC podcast. It will also be where we publish the most up-to-date information for finals, either that or our Discord, which you can find through our Twitter, or iplabs.inc, our website. There's also a little link at the bottom underneath closing segments, play.sac.inc/4, where you can register to play for the next SAC tournament. I think with all those extra plugs out of the way, that's all.
Yeah, that is all. And we will see you all on Saturday. Don't miss Tournament 4.